It's been a hell of a week. For those of you that know me, hi, my name is Stardust Raccoon. And for those of you that don't or are new to seeing this, still, my name is Stardust Raccoon. Where do I even begin? First and foremost, allow me to say that I'm safe. I'm currently somewhere here in Ohio. I'm not allowed to say where due to obvious reasons. Let me start from the beginning. I myself work or used to work at a theme park in Orlando, Florida. A very famous mouse runs the joint, if you catch my meaning. I was a trainer in bus operations, and I had done that job for 14 years. I was forced to resign my position as a trainer for the company due to circumstances that were probably not the best of circumstances. I really don't want to get into it right now. Just know that your girl messed up and made a mistake, and it was good enough that it warranted suspension from work. Well, that's not the reason to escape Florida, if you ask me, and it's not. While this is going on, I've had a tumultuous relationship with my family for many years now. They were letting me live with them for free of rent. I was still expected to pay what I could and did so upon their request. However, nothing was ever good enough for them. I bought a dryer. They said, well, you didn't buy the washer. I paid the internet bill. Well, you didn't pay all the bills. You didn't pay some of them, but you only paid one. Nothing was ever good enough for them. Well, my father has been in and out of hospitals now for the last year. I've been slowly watching my father pass away, die for the last 10 years, it feels like. He has some issues that I really don't want to get into. They're very bad, they're very medical. I pray for him. I pray that he gets better. However, last May I started transitioning, which was a turning point with my family. You see, they are of a different generation, one that doesn't understand gender identity and doesn't readily accept gender people like myself. They don't understand. I was told to hide it. I was told to never tell anyone about it. I was not even allowed to instruct my sister that I was trans for fear it would take away the grandchild from my mother. And that's one of the problems of my relationship with my family, is my mother and I are just toxic for each other. So that's circumstance number 2. Well, number 3 is Florida engenders, my darling. It's like, ice, water, and fire. It's just they don't get along. So on top of being suspended at work, and my mother had taken a day off for herself. She mainly takes care of Dad while he's in the recovery home or the nursing home or rehab, whatever they're calling it this week. And she took a day off from him. She does do an awful lot for my father, who is very dependent upon her in his rehab and in his hospital stays. But it's things like get me ice, get me a soda, get me this, get me that. More, he doesn't, I don't know. It's hard to explain in such a short amount of time. But she took a her day on last Wednesday, which would be a week ago tomorrow. And I was suspended last Tuesday, so a week ago today, I was suspended from work. And Mother was laying in bed. I had been up in the attic spraying for wasps because we can't afford an exterminator to come in. The wasps were getting in while I was in the bathtub naked. And as I'm coming out of the attic, I hear this guttural scream. Now understand, I'm very phobic of wasps. I have a severe crippling phobia of wasps. So the very idea that I was in the attic looking for these beasts is very adrenaline pumping even right now. So with that adrenaline going, coming out of the attic, my mother started screaming, and I rushed downstairs figuring she was hurt, I act as a caretaker for my family. They're up there in years, and I have taken care of them on and off for the last 20 years of my life. And I rushed downstairs. The scream she uttered was one that was something akin to what you would expect a scream queen from a horror movie to utter. And she's laying in bed screaming about my father. And on top of my hormones, on top of the stress from work and the adrenaline from the wasps, and then the adrenaline rushing downstairs to come to her aid, I started crying. And my mother looked at me and rears her head back and says, "Oh, great, now I have 2 infants to take care of." And at that moment, the words my friends had said for years, like Hund, who's standing behind the camera right now, he's been telling me for the last 3 years, get out, leave, do whatever you can. My therapist has told me for years, get out, leave, do whatever you can. My friends online, Hope, a lot of them had told me for years, Star, get out. And Wednesday was the first time I had ever listened. Now, I only had $400 in the bank. We ran the numbers really quick. I would be able to make it just to Ohio. I'm currently, and like I said, I resigned my position at my company. I'm unemployed. I'm living here pro bono with Hund and his family and their generosity to take me in, to give me shelter from the storm. I drove for 15, maybe 17 hours to be here, to escape the persecution, neglect, and the toxic environment, the gaslighting. Oh God, the gaslighting, my darlings. I hope you never go through that. So, with that being said, Hund was nice enough to bring me into his home. And until I'm able to get on my feet, I'm still depending upon the generosity of others to help me. I had to drive here all night. Hund's been helping me get down my insurance and helping me apply for Medicaid and food stamps. And he's going to help me find a job here that I'm suited for. But until then, especially with today's turn of events where Hund was laid off from his company, I'm depending upon the generosity of others, it still seems, to provide food on the table, to put gas in the car. I have to buy clothes because most of mine got left in Kissimmee. I don't know what's going to become of them. I know my family unplugged my security camera I had placed in my room before I left. She disconnected that. So I can't tell you the status of what was left behind. I brought the important things. I brought Star and I brought my wonderful Rampart. But I left my entire life and lifestyle and everything behind because I just couldn't take it anymore. And I pray every night that none of you will ever know the pain that I have to endure and the rejection I feel, but then the joy and the love that I felt from my community, from a queer space that believed in me and supported me. I don't even feel right asking for your support right now because of my pride and my licking my own wounds. So I'm going to ask if you can, please donate to Hund the Hound's Patreon, to his Ko-Fi, Coffee, whatever it's called. We'll link that down below. I'm just not comfortable at this point taking that cash. I know Hund's going to include a link to my PayPal and Coffee, and that's fine. But without Hund the Hound, I wouldn't be sitting right here right now. I don't know where I would be. But anyway, I want you all to stay safe out there, to realize that your loved ones, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of life. I'll put it that way. And my found family is very important to me. And I love you all so much. Ciao.